it's Clay. Welcome to another League of Legends video. This time we're doing a Season 4 Masteries breakdown. I'm going to try and explain some of the Mastery pages that I've had success with, and kind of give you some explanation from there. The Masteries have changed quite significantly, and there still, I think, is room for experimentation to figure out what is best, but just kind of as some like standard, straightforward Mastery setups, this is kind of what I've been working with and what I have enjoyed. So first of all, for an AD carry. I actually feel like 2109 is your best choice. And actually, before I get into this, I wanted to say a couple of things just about the changes in Masteries in general. One thing I've noticed is that your 9-point options are weaker. So specifically 9 points in offense and 9 points in defense is weaker. Before, you would get armor and magic pen in the offense tree, and now you are just getting flat AD or flat ability power, and that is definitely weaker. The armor and magic pen has been consolidated and moved down here at the bottom of the tree, so it's definitely weaker in terms of just putting 9 points into the offense tree. And then the defense tree has also been nerfed in terms of 9 points because they swapped the armor and magic resist with unyielding and block. So unyielding and block are fine masteries, but I think they've been nerfed a little bit in terms of how much damage they reduce. But then you do no longer have access to armor and magic resist right away. So that, I think, is a nerf again to 9 points. So both of your 9-point options in offense and defense, I think, are actually a little bit weak. However, I think 9 points in utility is actually very strong. A lot of the best utility options have been moved to the top of the tree. And then the bottom of the tree is generally for supports or niche champions like Vladimir or Ryze, maybe Twisted Fate. So anyways, that's kind of my basic overview in terms of masteries. Now, let's look at the offense tree for an AD carry. You want to take attack speed. Obviously, attack speed is really good on AD carries. You can also take cooldown reduction if you're more of a caster style AD carry. But this is my more auto attack AD carry for someone like Caitlyn, Tristana, Vayne. Attack speed is really good. Butcher is going to help you last hit and get you further down into the tree. Brute force gives you attack damage per level. Martial mastery gives you a flat attack damage right at level 1 to help your last hitting. Executioner is going to help you secure kills with bonus damage to weak enemies. Dangerous Game is going to help you sustain when you get those kills. And in a late game situation, let's say you get like a double kill in a late game team fight, that's going to give you back 10% of your missing health and mana, which is really nice to help keep you topped off after a fight. Warlord is going to increase your bonus attack damage, so if you're buying items like Infinity Edge, Last Whisperer, maybe Bloodthirster, this is going to help scale that AD even better. Devastating Strikes gives you 6% armor pen, which is really, really helpful. And then Frenzy, if you're buying crit items like Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer, this mastery is a must-have. And then Havoc gives you 3% increased damage. Then if you want, you could run 9 in defense, and if I were to do that, I would do this. I would do Block, Health Regen, Unyielding, Veteran Scars, and Juggernaut. You're getting health, you're getting block and unyielding, which is going to help you duel with champions, and you're getting health regen for the sustain. But I actually really like to run utility instead, because I like to take this movement speed. I also like a little bit of mana regen, especially on someone like Caitlyn, who, you're going to be, if you want to spam Qs, you're going to want the mana regen. Alternatively, if you're someone who doesn't really use that much mana, you could do like a point in this, or you could take the reduce cooldown in summoner spells. If you're playing someone like Ashe, this is really good. Somebody who is more reliant on having flash up quite frequently, this would be really, really good. So it's kind of a personal preference there. I'm going to put the points here. Now this one doesn't really make as much sense because you're not itemizing for mana, so I wouldn't really get this on an AD carry. Then I really, really like this Alchemist and Culinary Master. I think these two masters are really good. It increases the effectiveness of your health potions. So you buy health potions, the duration is increased by 10%, so giving you even 10% increased healing. And then the Culinary Master allows your health potions to turn into biscuits that give additional health and mana instantly upon consumption. So yeah, for an AD carry, you're probably going to be buying health potions to help you sustain in lane, and this is going to help you with if you trade, you're going to get a lot of bit of health back. So overall, I think 2109 is the way to go on AD carries. Next up, we have an AD caster page. This would be for someone like Ezreal or even maybe like Zed. Somebody who is Pantheon AD focused, but more of a caster using their spells. I will take 5% CDR. This is a bit of a buff from last season. It was only 4%. Then I like to take Butcher. You could also take Feast. I was doing this more thinking about like a solo laner who's going to want to take advantage of the little bit extra sustain that you get from Feast rather than an AD carry who you're not going to be really relying as much on sustain because you're probably going to get a Doran's Blade and a Vamp Scepter and you've got Lifesteal Quince. So for a solo laner, I think this actually makes a little bit more sense. Then you want to get the attack damage per level and the flat attack damage. Again, Executioner and Dangerous Game to help you with killing champions. Then for casters, I really like to take Spell Weaving and Blade Weaving. And what this does is basically if you're dealing damage with basic attacks, this will increase spell damage, stacking up to 3 times. And then if you're dealing damage with spells, this increases basic attacks. So any champion that intermixes basic attacks with spells is really, really powerful on. So someone like Ezreal, who you're going to be doing like an auto-Q auto, that combination is going to be, improved because you use this mastery. So like I said, any champion who is using basic attacks and abilities in succession with one another is going to really want to spec into these masteries. Then I will take, Warlord. I'll put 1 point in here, and then I will take Devastating Strikes for the armor pen and Havoc for the increased damage. Then in the defense tree, the same defense tree that I explained before. For Enchanted Armor, you could probably swap this back and do the health regen instead. This probably would be a better choice just because you're probably not going to be itemizing for a ton of bonus armor and magic resist. I mean, this mastery would really only make sense on tanks. So this is probably a better choice for AD casters. This is my support page. Support masteries 0921. You're taking 9 points, like I mentioned before, for a little bit of tankiness. You could also do 9 points in offense. If I were to do that for more of an aggressive support, I would do CDR. I would do Mental Force. Let's see here. I would probably take this. Damaging an enemy with a spell increases allied champions' damage. So this is like ideal for supports. Because if you damage them, then your AD carry does increased damage. And then the flat AP would be nice. So this would be like my aggressive AP support, like an Annie, something like that. I would run this, but then for something more defensive, I would run the defensive tree right here. And then the utility side. So I would like to get Fleet of Foot to be really fast. Fast speed is really good on supports. Helps you go ward, helps you roam, helps you with lots of different things. So speed is really good. Mana regen is really nice, especially on someone like Sona or Lulu. Really, really good. And then also the decreasing cooldown in summoner spells is really handy on supports, especially on like Sona with a Flash Crescendo, things like that. Would be really powerful. Then you get your gold pretend stuff. You get gold pretend from Greed, and you get Scavenger. It's going to help you gain gold anytime your AD carry last hits, so these are no-brainers. Then I like to get Wealth for the extra starting gold. This is really, really nice. You can start with one of those 3 new support items and get an extra ward or health potion. Really, really good. Inspiration is really nice to help you keep up in experience. One of the big problems with playing support is if you're roaming, placing wards a lot, you're probably going to be falling behind in experience. So this is going to help you catch back up. Then Bandit is going to be really nice, so especially on ranged, grants 3 gold every time an enemy champion is attacked. So this is really powerful, especially with the whatever the blue support item is that gives you AP. These two together is going to give you a lot of gold for your ranged supports anytime you're harassing your opponent. I think the melee bonus is very weak, so I mostly am focusing on the ranged supports with this item. Sorry about that. And then Intelligence gives you reduced CDR. If you do take this as well, you can start the game with 10% CDR, which is really nice. And then lastly, you get 5% movement speed out of combat, again, to help you run and ward more quickly and roam the map. So a very solid standard support page. Next, we have an AP page. I have both an AP utility and defense, but like the principles are pretty much the same as they were before. Except I would really like to get Runic Affinity to help you increase the duration of blue buffs. But anyways, let's talk about 21 in the offense tree for an AP. So let's get 5% CDR, really, really good in standard. Butcher, AP per level, and flat AP. This is very similar to like this setup in like in Season 3. And then Executioner, again, is going to help you kill champions. Gaining Archmage gives you increases ability power by 5%. That could be really nice. This is like your miniature Deathcap passive, so if you're going to buy Rabbidan's Deathcap, this is a perfect mastery to go alongside that. Arcane Blade is really good to help your basic attacks deal bonus magic damage. So just helping your basic attacks scale into late game. Then you get the magic penetration from Devastating Strikes and the increased bonus damage from Havoc. So very straightforward AP page. If you are somebody who also auto attacks like Ziggs or Akali or Diana, Spell Weaving and Blade Weaving would also be very good choices as well. Or even if, I think these are strong choices on almost any AP. So definitely something to consider would be working points into these point masteries if you're more of a caster. But for more of like a straight AP mage like a Karthus, this is ideal. Then a utility, you get Fleet of Foot to move fast, you get Meditation for mana regen. If you do itemize for mana, Strength of Spirit becomes really good. Alchemist helps your potions become even stronger. You could also put points into lowering the cooldown of your summoner spells as well. And then Runic Affinity gives you increased buff duration. So going to help you out with that blue buff. For the defense, for some reason I was in love with Enchanted Armor when I was doing this before, but I much prefer this setup after some experimentation. So the same 9 points in defense I've had before. Okay, next up would be an 80 top. This would be for more of your bruisers who want to go 9-21-0 in the top lane. Now, one thing I've noticed about the defense tree is I often find myself really wanting a 20-second point in the defense tree, and I don't really know how to solve that. So anyways, if you want attack speed, if you're someone like maybe Olaf, somebody who wants attack speed, you can get this. If you want cooldown reduction, if you're Garen, you can go here. So these two tree points, or 4 points in each of these, is interchangeable. I again really like Butcher, then the scaling AD and flat AD. Now for the 21 defense. Now I will get Enchanted Armor on these guys. If you're going to be buying Sunfire Cape, Spirit Visage, this mastery is really good to increase your bonus armor and magic resist. Unyielding and Block is going to help you trade. Veteran Scars and Juggernaut gives you bonus health if you're buying any health at all. Like I said, Randuin's, Sunfire, Spirit Visage, this Juggernaut becomes really good. Then I really, really like getting +5 armor, +5 magic resist from hardiness and resistance. And then from here it gets a little bit interesting. There are a lot of things that you could do at the end of this tree. Now this one I actually think is kind of a weird mastery, and I don't understand it yet. Maybe there are some cases where this is really good, but basically you take reduced damage from any opponent who is movement impaired. So kind of strange. I guess if you're scrapping with someone and you can CC them, then their damage is going to be reduced, but kind of a strange mastery, and I'm not too fond of it right now. But then from your armor and magic resist, from this one you can gain evasive, which gives you reduced damage from AoE, which is really cool. There are a lot of AoE abilities in the game, so this very much helps you to be very tanky in an AoE. If you're playing 9-21-0, you're going to want to be in the middle of the fight, absorbing AoE spells. So this is going to really help with that. Now this is a really strong mastery if you're going to be diving and fighting 80 carries, because it's going to reduce damage from critical strikes by 10%. Also, if you're playing against someone like Master Yi or Tryndamere, who is a melee carry, this becomes a must. So also a strong point. But again, I also really like Perseverance. Perseverance gives you regenerates +3% of missing health every 5 seconds. So if you're in top lane and you've got a Giant's Belt, and you're scrapping it out and you're still laning, this is really going to help you keep you topped off. So the health regen is not something to scoff at. You can also take a point in swiftness if you're against a heavy slow team. This is like a situational mastery. If they have, Ashe and Lux and, all these other champions that have slows in their kit, swiftness becomes very attractive, so keep that in mind. Then Second Wind is also a situational mastery. If your champion has self-healing, like a Vladimir or a Dr. Mundo or a Nidalee, Renekton, any of these champions that have self-healing, this is really powerful. Because when you fall below 25% health, your self-healing is increased by 10%. So this, again, is just going to help you stay sustained and topped off in the top lane. Then Tenacious. This is like a Wukong passive where you're getting... let's like spec this a little differently. So you could get +4 and 2 armor, plus 4 armor, 2 magic resist for every nearby enemy champion. So if you multiply that by 5, that'd be 20 armor and 10 magic resist. That's not insignificant at all. That's really nice. So more of a team fight focused mastery. If you want to be, again, in the middle of the enemy team. Runic Shield, I actually think this mastery is garbage. So, like, I don't see any way that this is good. Like, you get it once when you go to lane, but other than that, I think it's pretty bad. So let's see, you put 4 points in here, and then your 21st point gives you the reduced crowd control. So a lot of different things you can do at the top of this tree. Something like this would be solid. If you want to instead get the healing, you could like maybe put 2 points in here, 1 point in there. This would be something that works pretty well. Just a lot of different ways you can spec the top of this tree, but like I said, I actually feel like 30, 0, I have a page for that, 0, 30, yeah, see, look right here, if I get all these that link together, I need 1 more point, but this is where I'm going to leave it for now. But 030 is also a pretty viable choice. Like, there are a lot of good points up in the top of this tree. We'll get to that later. So an AP top, just switching from these points to these points, giving you CDR, scaling AP, and flat AP, and Butcher. For an AP top, like, I don't know, somebody who's AP and tanky and goes top lane. Can't really think of anybody off the top of my head. Mundo maybe would do that. Yeah, it's kind of situational. This is more of a tanky jungle page. So same AD masteries I had before. And in terms of defense, the only big changes that I make is that I spec tough skin and bladed armor. And then at the bottom of your tree, you can kind of, yeah, do whatever you want. I mean, these are very situational, and I think time will kind of tell. But it really is, yeah, depending on what kind of team you're going up against. Do you need... are you worried about an AD carry? Take this point. Are you worried about AoE? Take this point. Are you worried about slows? Take this point. You know, it's just very situational. If you're self-healing, take this point. Yeah, very situational. If you're not self-healing, these points are a little bit less valuable. If you're less focused on sustain, then you maybe would want to do something like this. It would be a really good choice for a jungler. So it's, yeah, whatever works best for you. AP jungle. Again, just switching the offense points to the other side. Okay, 9021. This is like my Vladimir page. So you're taking 9 points in the AP, which is standard. So then you're taking move speed. Scout increases your trinkets. Your reduced cooldown reduction on summoner spells. Increased potions. Now you're getting plus 3% lifesteal and spell vamp, so really good on those types of champs. Also going to get a little bit of gold per 10. A lot of times some of these manaless champs scale really well into late game, like Vladimir. So that's going to work really well. Give you increased starting gold and give increased gold every time you're harassing an enemy. Increased cooldown reduction, and then plus 5% movement speed. So a good 9021 for some more niche champions. If you're dealing mana, like a Rise, you're going to want to spec more on this side of the tree to give you the mana regen, increased mana, increased maximum mana. So again, perfect for someone like Rise. And if you're getting blue buffs, Runic Affinity is really good. So then Hybrid. There are some really interesting choices for Hybrid. Someone like Kale. Who else is kind of hybrid-y? Akali, maybe? Teemo, perhaps? So I'm going to take cooldown reduction, and I'm going to spec to both the scaling AD, scaling AP, flat AD, flat AP. Going to take Executioner, Spell Blade, or Arcane Blade, so that your basic attacks deal bonus damage, and then Devastating Strikes for the armor and Magic Pen. This is really nice. You're getting split penetration from Devastating Strikes. And again, if you want, you can use Spell Weaving and Blade Weaving. If you want to take out, maybe what I would do is probably take out this and one from here and do this and this. If you are mixing in basic attacks, like I said on Akali, this would be really, really good. Or maybe Kale, if you want to do your QE, this would help with that. I'm actually going to leave it like this. I want to try this out. But a very good page for more of a hybrid damage champion. So this is my Ezreal page. Again, focusing on the mana regen, the CDR, the Spell Weave, Blade Weave. A very good page for a caster. Let's see. Okay, 1317. This is actually something I think is very strong. So you're getting the 9 points in offense. You could also change this out for CDR. And then you're also getting Executioner and Dangerous Game, which is going to help you, again, get those killing blows and make sure you finish off those kills And then in the defense tree, the nice thing about 17 is that you can spec into the armor and magic resist side. And if you don't want these, you could, spec them elsewhere with the slow and the regen. So a lot of different choices here. But 17 in the defense tree actually seems very strong, allowing you to spec 9 in offense. So kind of for maybe a bruiser page that's a little more focused on doing both the damage and being tanky. And then lastly, my 030, this is like my full tank page, where I take everything that I could want, except Runic Shield. We're not going to take Runic Shield. We're going to instead do... I don't even know. I guess this would be better than Runic Shield. I think that's pretty... I mean, you could maybe do it. I'll play around with it. I just, off the top of my head, I think it's kind of weak. But this is a really strong page for any sort of tank. And if you're in the jungle, you could easily swap points into Tough Skin, Bladed Armor. Probably take that out of Recovery and maybe the Runic Shield point away. But yeah, so anyways, this is kind of my Mastery rundown. Things have definitely changed, but a lot of the same concepts still apply. But I think time will kind of tell, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see some different styles of Mastery setups kind of come to fruition. There are a lot of interesting points and a lot of interesting builds that can kind of come out of these Masteries. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions about Season 4 stuff, let me know. I've got a video coming out on the support items. It maybe will already be out. Let me know if you want to see anything else. And if you're new around here, feel free to rate and subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.